So Toyota, they didn't just build cars, they built a whole new way of thinking. Believe it or not, their story doesn't start on the road. It actually starts with threads. It all started with this amazing loom, but the real genius wasn't the machine itself. It was this idea, jidoka, a machine smart enough to stop itself when there's a problem. Even the name change was a big deal. Toyota was chosen, partly because it was a lucky number. Then came the crisis. After World War II, the company was on the absolute brink of collapse. So they went to the US, saw how Ford did things, and had a total light bulb moment. They combined what they learned with Jidoka and created the Toyota production system, a game changer. With this new system, they were ready. Enter the Corolla, the affordable car for everyone. And then the 70s energy crisis hit. A disaster for gas guzzlers, but perfect for Toyota. Just look at that number, 300 million vehicles. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around. And you can see here, they became a true global powerhouse, selling cars absolutely everywhere. But they didn't stop there. In '97, they completely shocked the industry with the Prius. By 2020, they'd sold 15 million hybrids. They weren't following trends, they were creating them. But today, the king of the auto world is suddenly in a weird spot, playing catch up. See, Toyota's betting on a mix of tech, while everyone else is going all in on battery electric.
And on top of that, recent recalls and issues have really put their famous reputation to the test.
For a long time, they were pretty skeptical of an all-electric future. This quote says it all. But now they're pouring billions into EVs. The big question is, are they too late? So, can a company built on slow, methodical perfection survive in such a fast-changing world?
Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we distill massive amounts of information about the companies and ideas shaping the world, turning source material into essential, memorable knowledge.
Today, we are taking a long, hard look at a machine that defines global industry, scale, and above all, reliability. Toyota Motor Corporation.
It's the ultimate deep dive because the public perception of Toyota is so, well, deceptively simple.
It really is. Most listeners probably think of the Camry, the global production records. We're talking about 10 million vehicles produced annually, and maybe the company's reputation for quality. But our sources reveal a story that is far, far stranger and more complex.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to move beyond that image of just sheer scale and discover the surprising foundations.
We need to explore everything from its origins in, of all things, the textile industry, its revolutionary manufacturing philosophy, the Toyota way,
to its fierce internal debates over technology, like the whole hydrogen bet versus the big electric pivot, and the major controversies that have truly tested its core principles in recent history.
Exactly. We are looking for those aha moments that explain how a company born in post-war Japan became the world's most formidable automotive player, and perhaps more importantly, what it plans to become next.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start where most people don't expect. I mean, not with cars, but with fabric.
You really do. If you skip the early 20th century history of looms, you miss the single most important insight into how this global giant actually operates today.
Toyota didn't start making cars at all.
Not at all. It started as a machine maker. The Toyota Motor Corporation we know today was a direct spin-off of Toyota Industries, a company established by the founder, Sakichi Toyota. He was this ingenious inventor, totally focused on radically improving the efficiency of Japan's textile industry.
Yeah, the innovation that launched this entire industrial dynasty wasn't a car engine, but the Toyota Model G automatic loom, which he patented in 1924.
That loom was revolutionary. Not just because it was the first fully automatic loom that didn't need constant human supervision. Its real importance lies in the philosophy it embodied. It birthed the principle we now know as jidoka.
Right. I know jidoka is a core tenet of the Toyota way. It's often translated as automation with a human touch. But what did that actually look like on a 1924 factory floor?
Well, in the textile factory, the loom was designed to immediately stop itself the moment a single thread broke or a flaw was detected.
It just stopped cold.
Instantly. Before this, human workers had to constantly monitor dozens of machines, and if a thread broke, the machine would just keep running, ruining hundreds of yards of expensive fabric before a human could even spot it.
So the machine stopping itself immediately identifies the defect, prevents massive waste, and lets the worker fix the issue right at the source without creating any more flawed product.
Precisely. And that concept, built-in quality control at the source, preventing the mass production of defects, that became the philosophical backbone of the entire Toyota production system.
It meant prioritizing quality over sheer volume.
which fundamentally differentiated them from Western manufacturers who were just focused on maximizing continuous throughput no matter what.
That is the ultimate cross-industry insight. So they have the philosophy and the tech, but, developing an automobile division is incredibly capital intensive. How does a Loom company get the massive seed money to formally establish an automotive division in 1933?
It was an extremely shrewd piece of intellectual property licensing. In 1929, Sakichi Toyota sold the patent rights for that groundbreaking automatic loom to a leading British textile machinery company, Platt Brothers.
And that sale generated the capital.
A very significant sum. It gave his son, Kiichiro Toyota, what he needed to establish the Automotive Research Division. Their first prototype engine, the Type A, was ready by 1934, and the first production model, the G1 truck, followed soon after.
And before they became the globally recognizable Toyota, the company was actually called Toyota, right? Spelled with a D.
That's right.
We should spend a moment on that name change because it really speaks to how culture and business merged back in the 1930s.
It's a fascinating slice of cultural branding. The family name was Toyota, which literally translates to fertile rice paddies. But in 1936, they held a public competition to design a new logo.
And the shift to Toyota was driven by marketing, visuals, and lucky numerology.
Crucially, yes. The sources cite three primary reasons. The first and most culturally significant was that writing Toyota in Japanese script in katakana required exactly 8 brush strokes.
And 8 is a lucky number.
A highly auspicious and lucky number associated with prosperity and infinity. It suggests growth, success.
So they're intentionally incorporating good fortune right into the corporate identity.
Exactly. Secondly, the new spelling was just visually simpler. It replaced a character that was more complex to write.
Okay.
And thirdly, and this is perhaps the most subtle reason, they preferred the phonetic sound. They shifted from Toyota, which uses the voiced consonant D, often associated with a murky or muddy sound, to Toyota, with the voiceless T.
A clearer sound.
A clearer, crisper, more modern sound. It was a deliberate effort to sound forward-looking. And so it was, incorporated as Toyota Motor Company Ltd. On August 28, 1937.
It's a foundational lesson in business identity, that blend of tradition and modern marketing. But the early years were almost immediately interrupted by, existential challenges, specifically World War II.
Oh, they were brutal. During the war, Toyota stopped all passenger car production. They focused solely on manufacturing standard-sized trucks, primarily for the Imperial Japanese Army. The Army even provided a substantial portion of the price in advance to secure supply.
And the war ended so abruptly for them.
It did. The Allied forces actually bombed Toyota's main Corolla plant on August 14, 1945, literally the day before Japan formally surrendered.
Wow. Post-war recovery must have been incredibly difficult, even with the need for vehicles to rebuild the country. The U.S. occupation forces restricted them, didn't they?
Initially, yes. The U.S.-led occupation banned passenger car production entirely, so Toyota was limited to civilian truck manufacturing. By 1949, though, as the Cold War intensified, that policy shifted. It was known as the reverse course, and passenger car production was allowed to resume. But the economic climate was instantly catastrophic.
That was the Dodge Line Stabilization Program, right? It was designed to curb hyperinflation.
Correct. The Dodge Line was an austerity program that caused a severe contraction in the economy. Truck owners who relied on financing suddenly started defaulting on their loans en masse.
So Toyota was plunged into a severe financial crisis.
They were struggling so badly that the Bank of Japan, the central bank, had to step in with a massive bailout just to prevent the collapse of one of the nation's key industrial employers.
It's startling to think this pillar of stability faced near collapse just years after its incorporation. What was the single turning point that injected the capital to save them?
It was pure geopolitical fortune, the Korean War. Japan's location, combined with the strategic need for logistical support, meant the U.S. Army placed a substantial contract for trucks in the early 1950s, an order for 1,000 units.
And that was the lifeline.
It was the lifeline. That rapid influx of capital and guaranteed business allowed them to stabilize and finally start planning for global expansion.
And that forward planning included a pivotal educational trip for Kiichiro's cousin and future president, A.G. Toyota.
Yes, in 1950, A.G. Toyota traveled to the United States. His mandate was to train at Ford's massive River Rouge complex and to observe manufacturing operations across dozens of American firms.
What did he find?
Well, he saw the sheer scale of U.S. production, but he also noted its endemic issues, specifically huge inventory waste and quality defects that weren't caught until the very end of the line.
He essentially wanted to combine the scale of Ford with the quality focus of that automatic loom.
That's the genius of it. He took those observations, married them with the Jidoka principle born in textiles, and synthesized them into the Toyota Way, the management philosophy, and the Comprehensive Toyota Production System, or TPS. That trip cemented the company's future and laid the groundwork for decades of global competitive advantage.
Okay, let's unpack this core philosophy further, because TPS is arguably the company's most important and globally impactful export. It transformed manufacturing globally.
It's a methodology that essentially codified what the world now recognizes as lean manufacturing. TPS transformed Toyota into the quality leader, and it all rests on those two foundational pillars we established.
The first, the operational pillar, being just in time.
Which means producing only what is needed, only when it is needed, and only in the precise amount that is needed.
The goal being to eliminate inventory.
Exactly. Eliminate inventory and all the associated costs, defects, and lead times that come with massive stockpiles of parts. It keeps the supply chain flowing almost perfectly. The second pillar, of course, is Jidoka, ensuring quality at the source by halting production when a problem occurs.
What I find fascinating is that the origin story of how they crystallized just in time is debated. It suggests they were extremely adept at borrowing ideas from other industries.
Absolutely. The sources point to three widely cited origins for the TPS methodology. The first, and the most surprising to many, is that executives, including AG Toyota and the system's primary architect, Taiichi Ono, studied the logistics of American grocery stores during that 1950 trip.
Grocery stores.
Specifically, the Piggly Wiggly distribution system.
So they looked at how a grocery store stocked its shelves and realized they could apply that model to high-volume automobile manufacturing. What was the specific insight there?
The key insight was the difference between a push system and a pull system. Traditional manufacturing pushed products onto the line based on forecasts, which led to massive excess inventory. Piggly Wiggly, though, only restocked items when a customer pulled the product off the shelf. Toyota realized they could apply this principle to parts. They would only produce parts or components when the next stage in the assembly line signaled it needed them. This completely flipped the script on factory logistics.
That is profound. You're telling me that modern lean manufacturing owes a debt to how groceries are stocked? What were the other key influences?
Well, the other two highlight their commitment to quality over quantity. One was the influence of quality control expert W. Edwards Deming. His post-war writings emphasized statistical process control and continuous quality improvement, specifically the Plan-Do-Check Act cycle, which became deeply ingrained in Japanese industry.
Okay, and the third?
The third influence was the Training Within Industry program, or TWI. It was a U.S. government program introduced during the war that focused on standardized, clear job instruction and methods, optimizing training efficiency.
So TPS is this highly synthesized system built on engineering, logistics, and quality control. And beyond the operational system, there's the broader philosophical layer, the Toyota Way.
Yes. While TPS defines the production methods, the Toyota Way defines the management culture. Formally defined in 2001, it rests on two main pillars: continuous improvement and respect for people.
Let's break down continuous improvement first.
It encompasses three core concepts. First, challenge maintaining a long-term vision and willingness to challenge the status quo. Second, Kaizen, which is that continual incremental improvement involving everyone from the CEO to the line worker.
Yeah, the third.
And third, Genshi Genbutsu, which means go and see the process at the source. Management is required to understand the situation firsthand to make correct decisions, rather than relying solely on abstract reports.
And respect for people, what does that entail?
This focuses on respect and teamwork. It recognizes that workers are not just cogs in a machine, but thinkers capable of identifying and solving problems. I mean, Jidoka requires this respect.
Right.
Dr. Jeffrey Leiker, an academic who studied the system extensively, summarized this entire culture into 14 defined principles. It was so integral that in the 1990s, they started actively teaching TPS to their suppliers, and even donated the training to nonprofits to help them increase efficiency.
Incredible. Now, armed with this revolutionary system, they took their first tentative steps into global export in the late 1950s. And the results were initially a spectacular disaster.
Oh, especially in the U.S.
They just misread the market completely.
Immediately. Their first attempt was the Toyopet Crown, launched in 1955. It was their first fully designed, mass-produced passenger car. But crucially, it was engineered for the muddy, unpaved, low-speed roads common in post-war Japan.
So when it arrived in the US in 1958, it was in a totally different environment. High speed, smooth highways, massive distances.
Exactly. American buyers found it grossly underpowered for highway merging speeds. In some cases, the engine would overheat, just struggling to maintain high speeds on long stretches. It was also seen as overpriced compared to domestic cars.
And the name didn't help. We mentioned this earlier. But it's worth dwelling on the feedback they got.
The feedback was brutal and direct. James F. McGraw, who was the U.S. sales administrator at the time, was quoted telling his Japanese superiors that toy sounds like a toy and toys break.
Oof, that's rough.
It deeply undermined the quality message they were trying to convey. Exports of the Crown to the U.S. were quickly suspended in the early 1960s, a major strategic retreat.
So what was the actual turning point? How did they crack the American market and build the reputation we know today?
It came through smarter, more targeted engineering and critically economic timing. The shift began with the compact Toyota Corolla. Its 1965 redesign was specifically engineered for American road conditions with a more robust and powerful engine. This helped U.S. sales triple in just a few years.
And then, the 1970s energy crisis hit. That external shock was the catalyst that changed everything.
It was the major accelerant. American manufacturers were so heavily invested in these large, gas-guzzling, inefficient vehicles, and they struggled to rapidly retool.
But Toyota was perfectly positioned.
Perfectly. With models like the Corona and the compact Corolla, consumers suddenly demanded high-quality, fuel-efficient foreign cars, and Toyota delivered, cementing the Corolla's fate as the world's all-time best-selling automobile nameplate.
That success, though, created trade friction, leading to protectionist measures, like the infamous chicken tax.
Right, the 25% U.S. tariff on imported light trucks was a significant hurdle. So Toyota, demonstrating its incredible ability to adapt, found a strategic loophole.
What did they do?
Instead of importing finished light trucks, they exploited a regulatory gap by importing them as incomplete chassis cabs, which quickly faced a 4% tariff.
And what happened when the chassis cabs arrived?
They contracted a company called Atlas Fabricators in Long Beach to build and attach the truck beds to the imported chassis.
Clever.
It completely circumvented the 25% tariff, kept costs down, and was so successful that Toyota ended up just acquiring Atlas in 1974 to bring the whole operation in-house. It's a perfect example of rapid strategic adaptation.
While they were finding loopholes in the U.S., they were simultaneously pursuing an entirely different localization strategy across Asia.
Yes, the Asian development model in the 1970s was focused on local production through joint ventures in developing nations like the Philippines and Indonesia. This wasn't about exporting, it was about building vehicles tailored to local infrastructure and economies.
And that led to the basic utility vehicle platform.
Correct. Vehicles like the Toyota Tamara in the Philippines and the Toyota Kijang in Indonesia. They were designed to be robust, easily repairable, and multi-purpose, ideal for often challenging local road networks. This really solidified Toyota's presence across the region.
Moving into the 1980s, the trade pressure didn't stop. Japan agreed to voluntary export restraints in 1981, limiting the number of units they could ship to North America.
And that necessitated a permanent North American production presence, which led to the unprecedented NUMMI joint venture.
NUMMI, which stands for New United Motor Manufacturing, Inc., was a stunning partnership launched in 1984 in Fremont, California, with General Motors.
It was a mutual exchange of crucial, sensitive knowledge.
So what was in it for GM?
GM was desperate to learn TPS. Their small car quality was suffering, and they wanted a hands-on, live training environment to implement the Toyota way. They literally wanted to import Toyota's culture into their unionized American factory setting.
And what did Toyota gain from pairing with its biggest competitor?
Two things: mitigation and experience. First, it allowed them to establish a secure North American manufacturing base to navigate future tariffs. Second, and critically, it gave them their first real experience operating within the complex labor environment of the United Automobile Workers, the UAW, but with GM as a powerful partner.
And the first American-assembled vehicle rolled off the line in 1986. At the exact same time they were teaching GM how to make small cars, Toyota was executing a secret billion-dollar plan to conquer the ultra-premium market.
The Lexus project.
This resulted in the launch of Lexus.
Yes. The project, codenamed F1, was Shuichiro Toyota's high-stakes gamble starting in 1983. Toyota realized their existing high-end offerings, like the Crown, had zero credibility internationally against the European stalwarts Mercedes-Benz, BMW, or new Japanese rivals like Acura and Infiniti.
$1 billion is an enormous sum for a car division in the 1980s. What did they spend that budget on?
On engineering silence, refinement, and relentless quality. The goal was simple: create the best luxury sedan in the world. The debut vehicle, the LS400, launched in 1989 and was instantly praised for its near-silent interior and build quality that surpassed even high-priced German rivals. That massive, calculated gamble paid off instantly.
So by the 1990s, they conquered economy, reliability, manufacturing, and luxury. But the next revolution they led was arguably the most technologically significant: the hybrid vehicle.
Toyota's dominance in the hybrid sector is undeniable. They basically established this segment globally when they introduced the first-generation Toyota Prius in December 1997. It was the world's first mass-produced gasoline-electric hybrid car, initially sold only in Japan.
And that single vehicle established them as the world leader in hybrid sales, a position they maintain today, having sold over 15 million hybrid vehicles globally since that launch.
Their proprietary hybrid synergy drive system was the key innovation, and it gradually expanded across the entire product line. But when they started dabbling in plug-in technology, the initial strategy was, well, cautious. The first-gen Prius plug-in was pretty limited.
How so?
They just added a small battery to the existing hybrid system, resulting in only about 11 miles of blended electric range. Not very practical.
But the shift to the second generation was dramatic, emphasizing performance and range.
A major upgrade. The second-gen Prius Prime significantly increased the all-electric range to 25 miles and, crucially, allowed the car to operate at speeds up to 84-mile-an-hour solely on the battery.
Making it far more practical.
Much more. Even more telling was the 2019 launch of the RAV4 Prime, which uses the plug-in hybrid system to generate a combined 302 horsepower.
302 horsepower in a RAV4.
Yes. That power output makes the RV4 Prime Toyota's second fastest production car, only marginally slower than the GR Supra 3.0. It shows how their hybrid strategy evolved from pure efficiency to balancing power and fuel economy.
Now here is where the technology story takes a turn. While leading the hybrid charge, Toyota simultaneously made a massive public commitment to an entirely different pathway: hydrogen fuel cell vehicles.
FCEVs. This was a colossal strategic bet that ran counter to the increasing industry focus on pure battery electric vehicles.
Right.
Toyota's commercial FCEV, the Mirai, which means future in Japanese, launched in 2014. They viewed hydrogen as the ultimate clean solution, offering quick refueling and long range, overcoming the perceived limitations of batteries.
And they took an unprecedented step to promote the entire hydrogen ecosystem, not just their own product.
It was an act of extreme strategic altruism, or maybe long-term self-interest. They released 5,600 FCEV-related patents for free use globally until 2020.
Why would they do that?
It was purely to encourage competitors and energy providers to invest in the necessary hydrogen refueling infrastructure worldwide. They believed FCEVs couldn't succeed without a robust network.
Yet, consumer adoption of the Mirai has been slow, largely due to that limited and expensive fueling infrastructure. Is the hydrogen bet still active?
It is, but the focus has shifted dramatically from passenger cars to heavy-duty and commercial applications.
Where the advantages of rapid refueling are more critical.
Exactly. Since the mid-2010s, they've showcased projects like a hydrogen semi-truck tractor. More recently, in 2023, they announced a kit to convert existing diesel engines to run on hydrogen. They also secured a substantial $11.3 million deal with the UK government to develop a hydrogen-powered Hilux pickup.
Now, we must confront the elephant in the room: pure battery electric vehicles, or BEVs. Despite their hybrid leadership, Toyota earned a reputation as the world's most vocal skeptic of BEVs for years.
This long-standing hesitation stems from that deeply ingrained culture of caution and rigorous cost control. Historically, their engagement with BEVs was minimal.
They produced the first-generation RV4 EV, but only as a compliance car for California, right?
Exactly. It was to satisfy California's zero emissions mandate. As soon as the mandate was paused, they discontinued it. They even had a brief, fraught partnership with Tesla for the second-gen RV4 EV around 2012, which is also a limited production run.
And the company repeatedly stated publicly that current EV technology just wasn't ready.
Correct. In late 2012, the vice chairman, Takeshi Uchiyamada, was widely quoted saying that current EV capabilities simply do not meet society's needs, citing unacceptable deficiencies in vehicle range, cost, and charging time.
This skepticism culminated in CEO Akio Toyoda's strong public criticism of the entire BEV movement.
In December 2020, Akio Toyoda publicly declared that electric cars were overhyped. His argument was multi-layered. Environmentally, he argued that in Japan, a full switch to BEVs would not significantly reduce carbon emissions.
Why not?
Because the Japanese grid still relies heavily on fossil fuels like coal and natural gas for generation.
So if the electricity itself isn't green, the car isn't either.
That was his point. Furthermore, he projected staggering economic consequences for Japan, estimating the infrastructure switch alone would cost between $135 and $358 billion. He also warned that a rapid, forced transition would jeopardize millions of manufacturing jobs.
Yet the pressure from the global market, especially policy shifts in Europe and China, forced a massive, astonishing reversal in strategy.
The pivot was monumental. It challenged their decade-long official stance. In December 2021, Toyota announced a stunning $70 billion investment into electrification by 2030.
$70 billion.
$70 billion. They committed to launching 30 new battery electric vehicle models worldwide and set an ambitious target of 3.5 million BEV sales per year by the end of the decade. This includes Lexus aiming for 100% BEV sales in critical markets like North America and China.
They are now all in, but as a late mover, the transition has been visibly difficult, evidenced by the launch of their first dedicated BEV platform.
The BZ4X, which is the first model in their Beyond Zero series, was built on the dedicated ETNGA platform.
And this dedicated platform, meant to showcase their serious commitment, almost immediately suffered a major embarrassment that strikes right at the heart of their Jidoka principles.
It was a shocking failure for a company built on quality. Shortly after its global launch in mid-2022, they had to issue a widespread recall covering 2,700 units. The fundamental safety concern was that the hub bolts could loosen to the point where the wheels might just detach during driving.
The wheels could fall off.
The wheels could fall off. That is a basic, catastrophic failure. For a company defined by built-in quality control, a loose wheel issue on a brand new dedicated platform signals a serious internal struggle.
It absolutely raises the question. Did the massive internal push for speed, driven by the need to catch up, lead them to rush the engineering process and sacrifice the very principles that define them?
It was a serious setback.
So, if they are playing catch-up, what is their long-term competitive advantage in this crowded BE field? It seems to rest on a technological leap. Solid-state batteries.
Their key strategic play is moving beyond traditional liquid electrolyte lithium-ion cells. Toyota is developing solid-state battery technology in partnership with Panasonic, and they are recognized as holding some of the most critical patents in the field, over 1,000 of them.
What's the specific advantage that solid-state provides over current battery tech?
Solid-state batteries replace the flammable liquid or gel electrolyte with a solid conductive material. This offers two massive advantages. First, greatly increased energy density, meaning they can achieve 30% more range for the same size or weight. Second, much greater thermal stability, mitigating the risk of fire and allowing for extremely fast charging.
So if they commercialize this successfully, it could be a game changer.
A complete game changer, overcoming the range and cost obstacles that Akio Toyoda originally criticized.
We've spent considerable time detailing the Toyota Way Continuous Improvement, Jidoka, embedded quality. This philosophy built their public reputation. But we must now pivot to look closely at the moments when that culture has failed, leading to massive scandals and safety issues.
That collision between the idealized philosophy and the painful reality of scale created some of the company's biggest existential crises. The most damaging event was the unintended acceleration crisis that played out between 2009 and 2011.
This was a safety catastrophe that dominated international headlines.
It spanned nearly 9 million vehicles globally. The primary mechanical causes were identified as floor mat interference, which could physically trap the accelerator pedal, and later, concerns over possible mechanical sticking of the pedal assembly itself.
And the human consequences were devastating.
37 reported deaths were allegedly linked to the incidents, leading to almost 100 lawsuits. The financial and legal fallout was staggering.
Right, they had the billion-dollar settlement for lost resale value.
They did, but the most damaging blow was the $1.2 billion criminal penalty levied by the U.S. government. This penalty wasn't just for the defects, it was specifically for concealing safety defects from the public and for making deceptive public statements to protect the brand.
That distinction concealment is crucial. It directly violates the principles of transparency and quality at the source that TPS preaches.
It utterly undercut the entire ethos of the Toyota way. The penalty, which was the largest criminal penalty ever imposed against a car company at the time, revealed a serious gap between the stated corporate philosophy and the operational reality.
And tragically, we've seen these systemic safety issues manifest again very recently, this time through their small car subsidiary, Daihatsu.
The recent Daihatsu misconduct scandals have raised renewed, serious questions about quality and ethical standards across the Toyota Group. The problem surfaced publicly in April 2023 when it was revealed that Daihatsu had actively cheated on crash tests for vehicles, including models sold as the Toyota Yaris Active and Vios.
What was the specific mechanism of the fraud in those crash tests?
It was systematic and intentional. Daihatsu used vehicles during testing that featured a specific undeclared notch in the front door panel. This notch was engineered to avoid the collision energy, creating a sharp, dangerous edge upon impact.
But it wasn't on the production cars.
It was deliberately omitted from the cars actually sold to the public. They were rigging the test for a passing result that the production car could not replicate.
And the scope of this misconduct widened dramatically later that year.
The subsequent investigation in December 2023 found evidence of far more widespread falsification. Daihatsu had to halt shipments of 64 models globally, including 24 branded as Toyotas. The falsifications included faked headrest impact tests and, critically, using different airbag control units in the tested vehicles versus those installed in production cars.
And this forced the highest level of apology from the parent company.
Yes, Toyota CEO Koji Sato issued a very public apology in January 2024, acknowledging the profound betrayal of trust and calling for immediate overhaul of the certification processes. It stressed that the quality control issues from the unintended acceleration crisis were still systemic.
Beyond safety, Toyota has also faced significant environmental and political scrutiny that challenged its carefully curated green brand image.
The largest civil penalty of its kind was levied against them in 2021, a massive $180 million fine from the EPA. This fine was imposed for years of massive delays in reporting emissions-related defects to the EPA.
What was the consequence of those delays?
Well, the acting U.S. attorney stated that these delays likely led to delayed or avoided recalls, meaning vehicles with known emissions defects remain on the road longer than they should have. It highlighted a major compliance failure.
And then there was the highly controversial political stance concerning U.S. emissions policy, which directly undermined their public reputation as a green leader.
That decision caused significant damage. Toyota publicly sided with the Trump administration's legal efforts to restrict California's authority to set its own stricter vehicle emissions standards.
Why would a company that produces the world's most successful hybrid take that stance?
The argument was centered on national standards versus state standards, advocating for a single, less stringent federal rule to simplify manufacturing. But by opposing California, which is often seen as the leader in green policy, they alienated millions of eco-conscious customers.
And finally, they faced international challenges to the way they marketed their core product.
Their use of the term self-charging hybrid came under heavy fire. Critics argued this was misleading because the hybrid battery only charges through kinetic energy recovery or by using the gasoline engine.
It implies the electricity is free.
Exactly. While complaints in Ireland were rejected, the Norwegian Consumer Authority took a firm stance in 2020, outright banning the advertising in Norway. They stated that it was misleading to imply the electricity was free, as the consumption of gasoline is a necessary condition for the charging to occur.
It seems like a company defined by long-term vision has, in recent years, struggled profoundly with ethical and safety standards. But now let's turn the page and look forward. We must ask, is Toyota still primarily a car company, or are they becoming an infrastructure and mobility provider?
This is where the story gets really compelling and where that $70 billion pivot starts making strategic sense. Toyota's R&D focus is massive, fueled by huge investments in autonomous technology and connectivity.
They seem to be pursuing both full autonomy and driver assistance simultaneously.
They are. Internally, they are developing Chauffeur, which is their tech aimed at achieving Level 4 or Level 5 full self-driving. Simultaneously, they're working on Guardian, which is a highly sophisticated, non-intrusive driver assist system.
So Guardian is like a safety net.
Exactly. It monitors the driver's attention and intervenes only when a crash is imminent.
And their acquisitions and investments show a very aggressive strategy to integrate their technology with the services that actually use it.
Absolutely. They invested over $1 billion total into Uber's self-driving division and acquired Lyft's self-driving unit for $550 million. They also put $400 million into Pony.ai. They are rapidly building a portfolio of strategic alliances.
The ultimate physical manifestation of this vision isn't a car, though. It's an entire experimental city. The Woven City project.
The Woven City is spectacular. It's a 175-acre, high-tech, sensor-laden metropolis being constructed at the foot of Mount Fuji. Construction began in 2021, with completion expected in 2024. It's designed to be a living laboratory.
A living laboratory. How is the urban planning structured to support that?
The city plan is unique. It features 3 types of interwoven streets. One for high-speed autonomous vehicles, one for lower-speed personal mobility and autonomous delivery, and one dedicated solely to pedestrians and nature. All mobility will be managed via sensors and software.
And people will actually live there.
Residents will move there and participate in real-time experiments testing autonomous deliveries, robotic assistance, mobile shops, and transport systems. It's a total infrastructure experiment, powered largely by hydrogen fuel cells.
And the specific mobility product designed for this new environment is the e-Pallet.
The e-Pallet is the modular shared autonomous shuttle that embodies this new ecosystem. It was famously used at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. It's designed not just for transport, but to serve as flexible mobile commercial space, a mobile shop, a mobile office, a delivery hub.
Shifting back to high-end vehicles, even the successful Lexus experiment is evolving, leading to the creation of an entirely new ultra-luxury marque.
That's the most recent refinement in their strategy. The announcement in October 2025 to spin off the Century nameplate as an independent marque. The Century has always been Toyota's absolute highest-end offering in Japan, a hand-built limousine.
So why separate it from Lexus?
Chairman Akio Toyoda's decision was to clearly segment the luxury market. Lexus is now defined as their mass production luxury brand. The Century marque, however, is focused exclusively on low-production, hand-built, ultra-luxury bespoke vehicles, allowing it to chase the rarefied territory occupied by Rolls-Royce and Bentley.
Let's revisit the pickups briefly. We discussed their early struggles in the American large truck market. How did they ultimately succeed with the Tundra?
Their first attempt, the T100 in the 90s, failed because it was criticized for only offering a small V6 engine when Americans demanded V8s. And it was imported, so it was hit with that 25% tariff.
They learned they needed a truly American product.
Exactly. The success came with the Tundra, which was built entirely in the US, equipped with V8 engines and designed and styled to match American full-size expectations. That commitment to local manufacturing for local tastes proved crucial.
For a company primarily known for building cars, the sheer breadth of its non-automotive businesses is astonishing. Let's look at the financial arm first.
Toyota Financial Services, or TFS, is a massive, often overlooked global network. It operates in over 30 countries, providing auto loans, leasing, and credit cards to roughly 11.6 million customers. To grasp its scale, consider that in Kazakhstan, TFS actually ranks second among all microfinance organizations in the country.
Then we have the robotics division, which seems aimed both at efficiency and societal service.
Robotics is a deep, long-term commitment. A remarkable example of their research is the brain-machine interface developed for wheelchair control. It allows a person to accurately control an electric wheelchair with their mind, with an industry-leading delay of only 125 milliseconds between thought and movement.
That speed is astonishingly fast. And they also have their humanoid robots.
Yes, the humanoid THR-3 robot, which can be remotely controlled using 5G technology. The robot mimics the operator's movements in real time, even over distances up to 6.2 miles.
And as a final fascinating tie-back to their industrial origins, the thread of their textile past remains literally visible in other non-automotive business lines.
Indeed. Aisin, a key member of the Toyota Group, produces sewing machines. They proudly use the exact same Toyota wordmark logo. This dates back to the founder, Kiichiro Toyota, who was so pleased with the first sewing machine produced that he applied the same branding as his nascent auto business.
Finally, we should acknowledge Toyota's visible global identity through motorsports.
Motorsports is integral to their high-performance engineering, channeled through Gazoo Racing, or GR. They compete successfully across top-tier global series, the World Endurance Championship, World Rally Championship, and the grueling Dakar Rally, and notably achieved a phenomenal streak of 5 consecutive victories at the 24 Hours of Le Mans laws between 2018 and 2022.
And their recent news signals a major return to the world's premier open-wheel series.
After a 15-year absence, Toyota confirmed in October 2024 that they will return to Formula One. They are partnering with the US-based Haas team. This return signals a renewed, major commitment to the highest levels of competitive racing.
So after this truly exhaustive deep dive, from the 1920s Loom that automatically shut itself off when it detected a single flaw, all the way to the 2020s where the company had to recall wheels falling off its new EV, what's the final synthesis of this incredible complexity?
I think the central narrative is this. Toyota's longevity and staggering scale are rooted in a foundational manufacturing philosophy, TPS, that dictated uncompromising quality and efficiency from the textile industry onward. This cautious, rigorous, long-term approach protected them for decades and made them the global leader.
Yet that same caution became a major liability.
Precisely. That cautious, slow-moving institutional nature led to massive internal friction in the modern era. Their hesitation on pure electric technology allowed new rivals to gain critical ground, and, perhaps more tragically, that rigid internal culture contributed to devastating quality and safety scandals.
From the $1.2 billion criminal penalty for concealment right up to the systemic testing misconduct at Daihatsu.
They are a company defined by profound institutional strengths that have, paradoxically, become liabilities in a fast-moving, technology-driven world.
That brings us to our final provocative thought for you, the listener. We've seen Toyota make a massive investment in software engineers, dedicate billions to solid-state battery technology, and most profoundly, commit to building the woven city, a sensor-laden, mobility-first metropolis. We've seen the Century brand refine itself to target bespoke luxury, moving away from mass-market scale. Is Toyota preparing to transition from being primarily a producer of mass-market automobiles to being a comprehensive infrastructure and mobility provider, one that manages the entire ecosystem of transit, delivery, and even urban planning? If modular shared transport like the e-pallet replaces individual ownership in certain zones, what might that shift mean for how people own and interact with cars in the future? That's what we leave you to consider.
A fascinating future indeed, built on the foundations of a textile machine.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.